there, welcome to Caffeinated Crafting. My name is Daniela, known as Caffeinated Girl around the interwebs. It is Saturday, February the 18th, in the middle of the afternoon. It's all sunny but chilly outside here in Middle Tennessee. I have a few project updates, I suppose. So let's get into it. I did not record last weekend because I was deep in the middle of hat knitting and I just wanted to get it done. And I did. But, so I was knitting the, oh gosh, something Cherie Beret. Oh, hang on. Now I don't remember what the thing was called. Hang on. I was all smart and I pulled up the picture, but that doesn't tell me the name of what it was. It was called the Salute Cherie Beret by Sari Norlund. This is the pattern. This is what I was going for. Okay, that's what I was going for. I knitted out of Malabrigo Rios in the colorway Fuchsia. And this is what I got. Not the look I was going for. Like, it was a beanie, like tiny beanie. And I was like, aw, man. Well, the part around the head fit well, but then obviously the rest of it was too tight. So I was like, okay, I know you can block berets over plates to get that beret shape. So I'm gonna try that. And I tried that. It was not successful. It did block it out so that the back, the crown of the hat was beret shaped, but it also stretched it out around the head so much that then it was way too big. Like, it grew too much. Like, it was super washed and it really grew. So then it wasn't deep enough. Like, it grew this way to make the hat larger. It did not grow this way, and that's what I needed. So I frogged back to the decreases, and I thought, well, and this was in the morning before work. I frogged back to the decreases, and I thought, well, I will just knit some more and then re-knit the decreases. By the end of the workday, I had decided it just wasn't worth it. So I reclaimed the rest of the yarn. So here's my whole skein, and ordered myself a beret because I really wanted a hot pink beret, because I was like, ooh, beret will be fun. And so instead of knitting it, I bought one. Because sometimes knitting the item you want is just not the answer. So I would definitely knit this pattern again. However, I would do some math so as to, and this is a free pattern. So I would start it off the same way. But when you start doing the increases, I would do some math and do add an extra repeat in. Knit it to be deeper. Like, it needs, for me, it needs to, well, with the extra stitches, maybe not quite as much. But I would say it would need to be at least extra stitches and then maybe like 5 rows deeper to give it that slouch back there. Yeah, it's just not big enough for my big old head. I mean, I realize I have a big head, but that was just a ridiculous, keep looking at it. That was just a ridiculously fitting hat. I mean, it wasn't even like as a beanie, it didn't even really fit. But so if you look at it this way, and the beret I have on, it's actually, this part fits really well. I just needed this up. I need this up here to be bigger. So maybe actually, yeah, I would add like 5 rows to the depth and add an increase, like, and add extra stitches for the increase. Maybe even just, I think maybe even just adding, I think you add it in sections. I think the top was by, when you do the decreases, it was like 5 sections that were decreased. So even like 2 stitches per section. So that's like 10 stitches would make a huge difference, I think, for this hat. So I might knit this pattern again, and I might not. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. So my head didn't like the hat, so that's what we got there. That's my sort of, kind of, but not really finished object for this episode. The other thing I finished, excuse me, not finished. Well, I did finish it, but I think I showed it to you already. I was looking at this, and that's what made me say it. I used it this morning, and I think it really helped keep my coffee at the coffee shop warmer. So it's just a little coffee cup sleeve. It's in my, I went to knitting this morning bag. So I cast on this hat back before Christmas, but I haven't really worked on it since. It is called Root. Pattern is by Molly Conrad. So Root, and here's her name, Molly Conrad. It is a ribbed along the bottom and cables on top hat. And I am knitting it out of this gorgeous red Cascade 220 Superwash in the colorway 893. Doesn't have a name, but it's Superwash Aran, so gotta know that's Aran weight. And so far, I'm still deep in the ribbing. I have to knit like a whole bunch of ribbing. Has a provisional cast on, because eventually this will get bent over and then knit together so that the ribbing is double thick. It's very boring knitting, so I will be taking this to the coffee shop on Saturday mornings for the next unforeseen future until the ribbing is done. That'll be my, I have entertainment because I'm talking to people knitting. It's a broken rib. It's not like a standard rib. So see, it's like a, not broken rib is not the right word for it. It's like a 3 by 2 by 1 by 2 by 3. So it's kind of a weird rib, because it ends up going into the cables eventually and it'll look great. But as far as knitting it, you can't just like barely pay attention and be like knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, because you got to pay attention. But there it is. That's what I'm going to be taking to knitting on Saturday mornings. The other thing and that is for an Ilvermorny class. I don't remember which class. It's something to do because of the red color and the root. The root chakra and the red. That's why that hat's working. Ha, see, I remembered. Anyway, so for magical creatures at Ilvermorny, tigers arrived. So the creature this time is Chimera. So it's a combining 2 things together. It could be mixing 2 patterns together, or in my case, I'm mixing knit and crochet together. And I'm making a sweater vest that I'm literally just making it up as I go. Worst case scenario, I don't like it and it'll be a cat bed. But I'm just playing with yarn because that's what I'm in the mood to do. I cast on, I'm not really sure how many stitches, just enough so that it looks like, oh, that's a good sweater length this way. And then I did half double crochets, ran out of that color, added in another one. So I'm doing marled, so I'm holding 2 together. And these are all half double crochets until you get like here. Here I picked up stitches with the knitting needle and then knit 3 garter, well, it's 3 on the back. Well, I don't know which side's the back and the front yet. I haven't decided. Anyway, I did some garter ridges and then I was like, ooh, I'm tired of knitting again. So I picked it, I cast off, or did I cast off? Or I did, yeah, I cast off and then used the cast off to start crocheting again. And so now I'm doing a bit where it's double crochets, but I'm crocheting into the, like between, instead of crocheting into the top, I'm crocheting into the hole. So you get like this, oh, how well can you see that? You get this texture. There, can you see that? And I've done 3 rows of that. So 3, if I hold it, if I say this is the front, is my thought, then I have 3 garter ridges and then 3 rows of this. So I think after I finish this row, I'm going to do something else and just keep it with the 3s. Maybe go back to the half double crochets for a little bit to give it a little more structure. I don't know. I'm just making it as if I go. It's going to be like basically just like a square kind of a thing. I'm going to put some sleeves on it and I'm going to knit those to get some more knitting into the project. And then I'll probably knit the band below. Haven't decided if I want to do it a closed like sweater vest or if I want to make it like an open with a open front vest. Don't know yet. I'm just totally making this up as I go. So far I have used this Socks That Rock, Blue Moon Fiber Art Socks That Rock. No idea what the color is, but it's been in the stash and balled up forever. I've used this throughout and I've kind of just added other bits into it. I'm back to trying to use up some leftover stash. I'm going to try to keep it all into kind of this basic color family of like purples, a little bit of green, but just a little bit of green, and like black, gray, that kind of a thing. Anything can go. This is a complete experiment. I might wear this and I might decide it's a cat bed. We'll see. That is all I have going on. I have a really bad case of finish it up-itis and start up-itis all at the same time. I'm kind of feeling unsettled, I guess, with the whole health mouth thing, and just a little anxious, and I tend to not be able to focus on crafting as much when I feel that way. So I've been watching more things, crafting less. Although I'm kind of getting into this whole make it up as I go sweater, because it's distracting, because I can just change it at a whim. Like if I'm like, hey, I'm tired of this, I'll just do something else. And I think that's my problem, is like I get tired of what I'm working on and want to change it. And you can't do that with a regular project. So I'm thinking this might help, but we'll see. All right, so that's all I have for this week. I hope you guys have an awesome week, and I will see you next weekend. Bye.